Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and before I begin this video, I just want to take a second and thank you all so much for watching my videos. If you enjoy my content, make sure you like this one and also subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more content coming soon. I have really exciting stuff coming, so stay tuned for that. Today I have a much anticipated video, and it is the review of the Galaxy A53 5G's camera. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to talk about specs first. So you have a quad camera setup with an LED flash, and you have a main sensor of 64 megapixels at f1.8 aperture, and it also has optical image stabilization, which is not a common feature in a mid-range device, so that's definitely a thumbs up for me. And in addition to that, you also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and also two 5 megapixel cameras, where one of them will act as a macro sensor, the other would be a depth sensor. And I like how the camera design itself blends in beautifully, and it really integrates nicely with the design of the phone itself. So it gives it a clean look and just looks like it belongs. Very intuitive, very clean, and Samsung definitely did their job with that. And I think that's an improvement from last year's A52. So the front-facing camera is a 32 megapixel sensor, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now let's get, The other thing that I wanted to discuss is the camera interface itself. So it's what you would expect from Samsung, so very clean and just a simple, nice, clean, easy to use camera app, which is something that's very important when taking pictures, right? There's not a lot of clutter, and everything is in your front view area. So that's really good. And you can switch between your standard lens, your wide angle, and they even have like this artificial digital zoom lens. Okay, so with that being said, now let's talk about the important part of this review, which is photo and video quality. Starting with photo quality. Okay, so in good lighting conditions, the A53 produces some quality pictures, which have saturated colors, and also the bokeh effect is really good. It surprised me actually. It keeps your subject in focus, and the wide angle lens gives a cool wide angle effect. However, it does not produce as good of pictures as the main sensor, which is expected. I mean, it's a 12 megapixel, kind of a lower quality sensor. The wide angle doesn't really have optical image stabilization. I also want to talk about, and you'll see it, and it's more apparent in actually the video, is that the autofocus on this camera is kind of a hit or miss. But like I said, you'll see it when we get to the video quality review, when we get to the video part of this camera review. So when it comes to dynamic range now, it is a little bit aggressive with saturation, especially if you look at the grass and the trees themselves. So the grass is slightly oversaturated, and the sky is also in a similar way. However, it does a really good job in balancing the exposure, right? So the sky is not really overexposed and the trees are not really dimmed down. So there's kind of a balance. It is a little bit oversaturated for my taste. Now switching to the wide angle, surprisingly, it tones down the saturation. Now moving on to indoor photography. So indoor photography really has artificial light, which is not as good as natural light, obviously. So this camera here does a respectable job with the quality of the light that is provided in these pictures. I mean, it's not really as good as taking pictures in natural light, but it does hold its own, so it definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Moving on to low light conditions, and that's really an area where you'll see pretty much most mid-range phones especially will struggle in. So for example, this one here. So this is a sunset picture, and it looks really good. It looks respectable. However, you will be able to notice slight noise here and there. Again, it's not really crazy like low light conditions, but it overall does a pretty good job. Okay, and in the next picture you will see, so in low light conditions where there are street lights like lamps and just different lighting, in low light conditions, it does a better job, right? So you'll have more your subjects, and I really recommend shooting in these types of scenarios rather than just shooting in really dim conditions. And this phone does have a night mode. So first, let's look at a picture where it's in a really dim condition, and you'll see that this is potato quality at this point. And like I said, it does have low light, which tries its best to help salvage the picture as much as possible, by just adding light to it. And okay, it helps, but it still is a it's an alright picture. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. I'm gonna be nice and just say it's an alright picture. Okay, so moving on to the selfie camera. The selfie camera is respectable. That's what I have to say about it. So it's definitely respectable. Does a pretty good job in balancing most of the colors, and here and there it does overexpose, but nothing too crazy. With that said, let's move on to the video quality. I'm just gonna let you guys watch the video that I shot with this, listen to the microphone, and I'll get back with some final words. Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and this is your video test of the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. So there is traffic behind me, so it's a little bit noisy, but I mean it does a pretty decent job in basically saturating the image from what I can see in my viewfinder. And you can switch between your standard lens, your wide angle lens, which is pretty cool that you can simultaneously switch between them while recording, and you can also the zoom lens. So that gets a thumbs up from me. And I'll talk a little bit about the microphone once I actually listen to it. But yeah, I mean, not too bad at all. So let's try and do a little focusing test. Seems to be working fine. Alright. So yeah, that's your little camera test, video camera. So yeah, that's your little video test of the Galaxy A53 5G. Video quality on the A53 is this. So you can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, or if you want to move down to 1080p, you have the option of 60 frames per second. I do have to say that it does shoot some decent videos. However, my one gripe that I have about it is this. The autofocus, like I said in the beginning of the video, is a struggle, so it can be a hit or miss, so it does hunt around. So if you want a camera with good autofocus, this might not be it. Okay, so in conclusion now, this phone retails for around $469 unlocked. And for that price, you're looking at, if you're looking strictly for camera, your competition would be, for this device personally, the A53's competition would be the Google Pixel 5a, which is just leaps ahead of the A53. So if you're looking for if you're strictly looking for camera quality, then I would spend the extra money and just go the Pixel 5a route. However, here's what I have to say. And I've seen a lot of carriers such as T-Mobile, Metro, and Boost Mobile. They have special promotions on this phone where you can get it for as low as $200. So at that price point, you cannot complain about this camera quality. It definitely gets a thumbs up. But for $469, it just has a lot of competition going for it. And that's what I have to say. So take that information and do with it as you wish. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like I said, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.